Well, good morning. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a podcast brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. And we're happy you're here. Caregiver Crossing is a podcast, if you don't already know, that's created just for you, the caregiver. I'm Tina McIntosh.
I'm Terry Stacy.
So we have talked before about structured family care. It provides live-in caregivers with the opportunity to be paid for the care of their adult loved ones. However, caregivers providing care for children with medically complex needs do not qualify for that program. In some states, as a matter of fact, there is legislation against paying parents for the care of their own children under any circumstance. And this leaves a lot of families in a really tough situation. Fortunately, in Indiana, we have services that are available to qualify families under the state's A&D Waiver, which is the Aging and Disabled Waiver. And Healing Hands Personal Services provides attendant care for children with the A&D Waiver. And this medically complex warrior program, the MCW program, allows parents to be paid to assist their children. Terry, would you introduce our guest for the day?
Happy to do that. Joining us today is Lydia Webster, MCW Coordinator at Healing Hands, to tell us more about this fantastic program. We are so glad to meet you. Thank you for chatting with us today for a little while.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
How long has Healing Hands been running this program?
Well, Indiana's FSSA made an announcement in February of 2022 that they were allowing the parents and or guardians to be paid caregivers through the Division of Aging Medicaid waivers.
So first of all, let's talk about the name. Mm-hmm. So when I hear the name, and the name officially is Medically Complex Warriors, how did that come about?
In the announcement from the FSSA in February, they coined the phrase medically complex warriors. And from this population of individuals, we loved it so much that we ran with it also. We strongly feel that these kiddos are indeed warriors, and they have gone through so much, and they continue to go through so much.
Oh, well, now explain to us, what is attendant care?
With us, the attendant care, we provide assistance through activities of daily living, such as transfers, bathing, dressing, oral care, hair care, toileting, taking to appointments, recreational activities, just things you do throughout the day.
All right. So Lydia, I have a question for you. You've been involved with this program for how long?
They brought me on in May.
Okay, so fairly new. Something
Yes.
tells me, though, between May and now, you have had experiences, heard stories, witnessed something that has really touched you about how the program is working. Do you have any of those that come to mind?
Growing up, I worked with an uncle. He's actually my mom's uncle, who had special needs. And that was since 2000. And then a couple years ago, my sister had a little girl, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer after turning 2 years old. Unfortunately, she's not with us anymore, but it really touches my heart being able to help these parents, because I know firsthand how hard it can be taking care of kids that have medically complex needs.
Yeah. And I'm so sorry to hear that about your niece. I can't, even imagine how difficult that time was. And for you, something tells me, as you're working with these families, you see your uncle's loved ones, you see your sister, you probably see and can relate to so much that people are going through, that when you have a child, you're not thinking that something is going to be wrong with them medically. Right. You're dreaming for the future, and
Exactly.
You're getting by the days and trying to capture those moments. But when something medically challenging comes along, up until this program, I just don't know where people have to turn. So how do people find the program?
To qualify for this program, it's kids that have medical needs that would typically require a nurse, such as having G-tubes, trachs, or vents, or cancer. But that doesn't stop the list. That's just part of it. The kids who also need to qualify for the aged and disabled or traumatic brain injury Medicaid waiver. So those are a few things. And they would get a hold of the aged and disabled waiver through their area aging.
And then the ages. What are the ages that qualify when it comes to the kids?
They haven't really put an age limit on it. We have kids as young as 3 months. Our oldest right now is 27 because parents will still take care of their kids after being 18. They're not going to just be like, oh, sorry, you're an adult now. No, they're going to continue taking care of them. So right now we don't have a cap on the age.
You know, this is something, Lydia, that I work at Joy's House Adult Day Service. So we have programs for caregivers and we're an adult day service. And it's something we talk about a lot with the age, as you said. Now, certainly our guests, our clients are over the age of 18. But it's a real concern for parents of what happens when my child ages out of high school, graduates from high school. Like, what are the programs we're going to do and how am I going to care for them best? So I appreciate hearing you say, you know, that the oldest person in your program right now is 27. Now, is this just for parents to be recognized and reimbursed through this program, or could it be a sibling or another family or loved one?
It could definitely be another family member. We do have grandparents, aunts or uncles. We've even hired a few nannies to come on.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just as long as they've had the proper training to take care of the needs of that child. We only do the attendant care portion, but they're medically complex kids. They've got so much more going on.
So much more going on. So the parent or the guardian or whoever may be the caregiver, can they still work a part-time job and still
definitely
qualify?
Yeah. Because a lot of these kids, they still go to school during the day. So we're just fine with the parents being able to have like a daytime job and being able to provide care for them on weekends and evenings or during their school breaks. So yeah, working another job is not a problem.
So if somebody's listening right now and they're like, I think I might qualify, or I know somebody, do they just call your office? Do they need to work through their local area agency on aging? Like how do they know what to do, Lydia? There's so much, right?
Yes. Well, if the families can contact me if they'd like. My phone number is 317-552-2039, and I can help with the services. If they don't have the waiver and they would like to see if they're eligible, they would contact their local area agency of aging. An agency map can be found online when Googling Indiana Area Agency on Aging map. And for Central Indiana, that's SACOA. And SACOA's resource line can be reached at 317-803-6131.
Okay. All right. And before we go, do you have a short, maybe testimonial that you'd like to share with us before we say goodbye?
Well, honestly, we have had so many stories from these families, especially going through financial situations with not being able to work outside of the home because their child cannot be left alone. A lot of the parents are just grateful to be able to provide for their families financially, as well as their special needs kids is receiving proper care. Their days can be planned out and they're not relying on instability of nursing staff, and they're not having to leave their child with someone they don't know. So it helped.
Oh, I'm so glad we got to meet you and hear about this amazing program. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tina?
Well, if you have anyone you'd like to hear from, anybody you think would be great on the show, any tips for other caregivers, you can contact me directly at tina@joyshouse.org. Always love getting your messages. And also want to let you know that we want to thank a very important sponsor of the show. We are supported here at Caregiver Crossing by Cardon and Associates, and with 20 communities that are owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized care. So on behalf of Terry, Stacy, and myself, we will see you next time. Take good care of each other.